It's 35 degrees here in Manchester, UK, and we're rocking out on Poetic 103.3 FM. Back to sports. In the championship game back in 2012, New York defeated New England by a score of 21-17. And in other news, we have Poetically Contagious with their new single, the smash hit Toss Him Aside.
That dude straight nice, yo. I'ma move like a river with a smooth yet tight flow. Now check mommy walk, exotic accent she talk. But that dude that she with, he just be playing a part. He be having his way, Denzel training a day. He be acting it out in every word that he say, manipulating the game. In fact, I'm on the train. She tried to lift up his heart, he tries to push down her brain. Oxymoron is he, a wolf sheep, pretty, a slithering snake. But an angel she sees, my step back from his mind. Start subtracting his time, understanding the clues and reading the signs. See that you two don't fit. You're emotionally sick. He's the cancer, I should be the one that you with. My Juliet, come here, you have nothing to fear. This Romeo won't die, just whisper in your ears.
I don't mean to pry, but he's not the kind of guy I see for you, girl. You should give me a try. You should give me a try. Let go what's inside and give me the right way to you. I need you here in my life. Girl, you can toss him aside.
Sing like Deborah Jade if your voice is up to par. Be the best female singing, non-superstar. Just pure talent, not using fast cars yet. Everyone around wants to know who you are. So this dude hold your talent like a running check balance. You should set up surveillance, red-handed catch clearance. Have him moving on his way, don't postpone the stay. Stick around one more day, high scoring games he play. He's a bandwagon jumper, start from the back fronter. Never close his mouth, always loud, gum bumper. About your heart he's twisting, gymnastic flipping. Jack the Ripper, why you coexisting? You need a man on his toes, treat you like a rose. Respect grows so your heart knows. Indeed, size to take a ride, maybe be a bride, so toss him aside.
I don't mean to pry, but he's not the kind of guy I see for you, girl. You should give me a try. You should give me a try. Let go what's inside and give me the right way to you. I need you here in my life. Girl, you can toss him aside. Baby, be with me. He's not the one you need. I can show you love that can last a lifetime filled with memories. He's not in love with you. What more I need to prove? Can you tell me what's still left for me to do? I don't mean to pry, but he's not the kind of guy I see for you, girl. You should give me a try. You should give me a try. Let go what's inside and give me the right way to you. I need you here in my life. Girl, you can toss him aside. I don't mean to pry, but he's not the kind of guy I see for you, girl. You should give me a try. You should give me a try. Let go what's inside and give me the right way to you. I need you here in my life. Girl, you can toss him aside.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Matters Radio. It is Sunday, and that is when we have our very special musical guest. And I know so many people look forward to this because you get a little bit of an intimate look into their lives, and you also get to listen to some great music. And Carrie, could you please introduce our guests for today?
I am delighted to welcome to It Matters Radio, Captain, also known as El Sharif.
It's Captain.
He's also known as Poetically Contagious. They are an R&B band. He is a producer, writer, songwriter. And El Sharif, I just first want to welcome you to the show, and we just love your music.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it that you love my music. I really do. Thank you.
You are so welcome. So, El Sharif, I want to start out. You had really a rough time growing up. You were born in the slums of New York. Talk a little bit about your growing up time and how that led you to become a fabulous musician.
I'm gonna keep it PG-13.
Sure, that's fine.
For all our young viewers and our young fans out there. Growing up in like New York City, like it was pretty hard. I'm gonna try to keep it brief, because I can go on for this forever, but I'm gonna give you the extreme brief version.
All right.
So like growing up in New York City, my earliest memories of New York City as a kid are homeless shelters. As a little kid, homeless shelters, rat and roach-filled homeless shelters. So seeing like the worst parts of that, other homeless people when I was a little homeless kid, I started to just record it, like make this mental note of it, and see on all the chaotic stuff that I know like was spread all over the world on the news in the 80s. It was all real.
Yeah.
What they were showing on the news, I know some people say, oh, that's probably propaganda. From someone that's got many scars from it, it was real. So just the way I fought against it and the way I got out, instead of getting pulled into the all the negative parts of New York City at that time, which is you got all like say a lot of the drug dealers at that time. It was big in that area. You got a lot of people robbing and stealing. So it was really big on crime and tragedy at that time, and it was a lot of pitfalls and traps where kids my age, I say about over 90% of my friends got sucked into.
Oh, easy thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, like with me, the way I know I had a different way of seeing the world even as a kid. What I would do is I would like I said, first record it, and then I had a way of being in a situation and stepping back and seeing it. So I was like, I'm in a situation, say, just to give you a quick idea, I could be in a situation sitting in the living room with 3 or 4 friends, and it's like I would have I don't want to get too spiritual, but like I would step back and see myself in that situation and I tell myself, really think about how you support, like as if I'm looking at myself saying, really think about how this situation, whatever decision you make here, whether you decide to or not to do something, how it's going to affect you 10 years from now, 50 years from now. So I will have those moments where I will be able to do that. So like when I like fast forward it, when I write a song or if I write a poem, you can see that I see it from a distance, the same view that I had as a kid when I was recording it. So like when I'm writing a song, it's as if I'm telling a story, and you seeing me describe a story as if it's right in front of me. Like I'm really good at doing that when I'm writing for music at my record label, when I'm writing music for like all the different artists, especially like the R&B artists, and some of the pop artists. I'll just take that step back and just how I did when I was a kid, and to see the whole situation, not bits and pieces, but every aspect of it.
That was such a gift that you were given to be able to do that when most people can't. They get stuck right in that situation as it's happening.
Yeah. One of the other things I noticed as a kid is that helped me out is my ability where I would say if someone would hit me, my first response wouldn't always be to hit back. It's like I would measure my options. Like I would, to be honest, it happened at like a moment in the 5th grade where something hit me. Before the 5th grade, from K through 5, up until that fifth grade point, my first reaction was, you hit me, I hit you back. But
Right.
at that, in the fifth grade, something hit me, and that's when that gift that I started to, like I was doing when I was a little kid. I would still step back, but when I got to the fifth grade, I used to do it even more. Not only did I just step back and see myself in a situation, I always went and swing first. I would ask myself, what are your options? Somebody just hit you. Can you walk away? Would it be better to go try to talk it out with them? Would it better be just to talk it over with authority? So it would be all these options that would go in my head, even when I'm feeling pain. So that
Yeah.
ability to absorb pain and take somebody hit, whether it be a physical hit, a mental, emotional, psychological, and step back and then ask myself for that split second. And that split second helps a lot to say, what are your best options to respond? So I was able to do that as a kid, and that actually, I don't know if it's a gift. You say it's a gift, but just being able to do that saved my life. But
It is, because most people just react
yeah,
without thought.
yeah, I know a lot of my friends did, and I tried to talk them out of it, and it led them down the wrong path. So, but one thing that allowed me to do, like say when I was older, and when I was in college, and one of my counselors noticed that I was able to do something with my writing, and I didn't know it was a gift at that time.
Mm-hmm.
When I first got to college, she noticed that she can give me a topic, regardless of the topic, and she'll tell me to write a poem and come back in a week or two with a poem. And I always looked at her awkward when she said that. The first time she said it, she's like, "Here's, I'm gonna give you these topics." She gave me 3 topics. She said, "I'm gonna give you these 3 topics, and in a week, I want you to come back." I came back in an hour. She was
Wow.
like, "How long did it take?" I'm like, it took me 15 minutes to write the first poem and 10 minutes to write each of the other poems. And I went and got a bite to eat. That took 15 minutes, and then it took me another 10 minutes to walk over here. So I told her, and it took me about 35 minutes to write these 3 poems. And then the next time she said, "Hold on," she said, "I want to try something." So she sat me down, and she gave me this topic, and she told me, "Okay, write this poem now."
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote it right in front of her, and then the look on her face, she was shocked. And to me, I thought that everyone was able to do that. And
Is
she's
it?
looking
That's, I mean, you were born with this. This
Natural
is what you
talent.
were meant to do. And
Yes.
it's wonderful that you followed that and listened to that inner voice within you, or
yeah,
listen to, your passion, rather than just go along with everyone else.
yeah.
So one other avenue that you chose was football. Talk a little bit about trying to get into football. How hard was that?
Like I know you'll probably see the huge smile on my face when I just said football.
Yeah, we did.
Like football, if like say 50 or 70 years from now, whenever my time is up, when they do the autopsy, my heart gonna be shaped as a football. Like like that's the love I have for football. What football did for me is it kept me centered.
Ah,
It really kept me centered. Like how I said, the part of it where I was able to step back around the 5th grade, and I was able to look at those situations where I started to not react fit so much with my fist at first, whether to just step back and say, should I swing with my fist, or should I swing with my mind, or should I go talk to another someone else about it, or should I talk to the person that hit me about it? Another thing happened around that time was football. So I started to fall in love with football around the 5th grade. So that kind of connected with it. Kind of gave me another avenue to say, hey, like I still remember the first time I hit somebody on the field, and my coach at that time, he was jumping for joy. Normally, I'm thinking to myself, I get into a fight, I get in trouble.
different rules.
I'm like, it's different rules on the football field. So I noticed at that time where someone hit me, all I got to do is wait to the very next play, which is about 30 seconds to a minute, and they call a play. I hit them back.
Yeah.
I get a pat on the back.
So what position did you normally play?
Yeah.
I played wide. I played 3 positions. Was on offense, and actually 4 positions, because it was on offense and defense. Because I was one of them extremely athletic kids, really versatile. Like my athletic ability was way more than what my body said it was, and that was another way I was gifted. Like I played wide receiver on offense. And on defense, I played defensive end and outside linebacker. And on special teams, I was a kick returner.
Wow.
So like they had me at a lot of positions. Like I
Versatile,
noticed, like yeah, I was really way stronger than what my body size was because I was underweight as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I didn't hit 100 pounds till high school. And keep in mind that before I got into high school, at I say about the 8th grade going into the 9th grade, I was around 5'10". So I was about 5'10", 80. So I was really, really small. But I had this enormous strength where I would just people two and three times my size, I would be able to move them, so to speak, like they were rag dolls. And my coach never understood it because I was at weight wise, hands down, I was the smallest person on the team. Not height, but weight wise. It was people used to look when they see my weight and then they see me and they say, "Oh, this kid isn't gonna do anything." And then I step on the field and they go against me. They're like, "How is this skinny kid that looks like a toothpick, like a stick drawman? How is he so strong?" So that another way that kind of helped me on the field.
Right. So did you actually audition for any pro teams while you were looking at football?
I'm okay. I'm gonna try to keep it short because I know when I talk about football, I can go.
Okay. I love football. I love football. I didn't understand it until 20 years ago, but I love football. So go right ahead.
I do too.
Right.
Go Raiders.
I'm a New York fan, so I'm with Buffalo Bills, New York Jets, and New York Giants.
Yeah.
So see, with me with football, starting out playing Pee Wee football, then went on to high school football, then went on to college football. I played for SUNY Canton in upstate New York, and I played for Alfred State as well. Then I played for the semi-pro team in Binghamton, New York. The Binghamton, or I think they call it the Boone County Dragons or the Binghamton Dragons. So I played for them. When I played with the pro team, the semi-pro team, I was on I only played defense. Like even when I tried out for the team. Oh, this story is one of probably my proudest stories. As far as playing football with a semi-pro team, which is like a minor league team to like the Jets and the Giants. So like when I was playing with this, when I went to try out for the semi-pro team, I didn't know about it. Like when I had moved, like came to Binghamton, it was basically for school. And the schools in Binghamton, the colleges, none of them had football teams. So I told myself, okay, I tried hard for football. I played some college ball. I didn't make it in my dream. So I'm telling myself, okay, you got this gift of writing. Even at that time when I was telling myself I had the gift of writing, it didn't quite hit me that I had the gift of writing. I didn't believe my counselors when the counselor kept saying that it's a gift, it's a gift. It took me a while to really believe her. I had for a while just thought it was everyone could do that. But getting back to the football, when I went to try out for the football, it was a guy at one of like the college jobs that I was working at. He told me like, hey, like he heard me talking about how I played with some local, like the flag football teams. They always have them, and you just kind of play around with just local people in the area. And he seen me playing, and he seen me talk about how I play with him. And he tapped me on the shoulder, like, hey, that's just a guy I know from school. And he was like, you know, they got a semi-pro team here. I'm like, you talking about the flag football? He like, no, like a semi-pro team that travels all around the country. And it's kind of funny. He told me about the team, and it was around May. Now that was like it was around weeks before the first game started. Now the team had been practicing from February up until that time, so they've been practicing for nearly 3 months.
Sure.
With the first game in 3 weeks. When he told me about the team, I'm like, really? Like, yeah. Like he told me about the team, and within 48 hours, I went to that next practice that they had scheduled. So I went there. And when I went to the practice, I didn't know what time he had told me around the time for practice, but that day they had decided to start it early, so I had got there about an hour into their practice. And what I know from football, you never interrupt the coach when he's practicing. So I know just out of fact, I know how coaches or like football coaches more than any other sport I play. I know how their minds work. So I know like you stand on the sidelines, if you get there late, even if you just a fan or even if you were a parent, no matter what it is. don't interrupt my practice. That's a rule. So out of respect, I sat on the sideline. I was just waiting. I was gonna wait till after the practice to talk to the coach. But to my luck, one of the guys that I work out with at the school, he was like he looking at the coach, and I wish I remember his name, but what he did for me still mean a lot to me to this day, because it's a guy that he works out with me in the gym, and what he said was he started pointing to the coach like, y'all don't know who that is, like he know like me from the weight room. I'm like, when I was working out, I work out in the weight room with him. At that point in time, I was 170 pounds, 6'1", 170 pounds, and what he said was, this guy is probably one of the strongest and fastest kids that you would ever see. Like, he was telling the coach, like, this guy could play in the NFL right now. He was like, he's 170 pounds. He can, with his like squat, he can squat 450 pounds on his back, free weights. He can bench press almost 300 pounds, and he's only once 170 pounds. He was like, this guy doesn't even play any athletic sports at this time, but all the athletes, the college athletes, he'd be embarrassing them when he raced them. Like, this guy is really fast and really strong. Like, I always managed, like, I always had a health mind and a physical, like, staying in shape mind. So I always practiced as if I was in the NFL.
Right.
So, like, when he told the coach came over, and they see this slim guy. I don't look that strong. So he said, hey, I was like, some of the couple of other players were telling me about you from the weight room. He came in the middle of the practice, which I didn't think he was going to do. He said, talk to me after practice. And I talked to him after practice, and he said, just come tomorrow to the next practice, just wear some sweatpants. And I came, and what happened over the course of the next 2.5 weeks, now keep in mind, the team has been practicing for the whole preseason for almost 3 months, and they already got all the charts, plays, they already got all the positions lined up, who's playing what position for the first game, who's assigned what. They got everything lined up. They just thinking I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to be some extra that's going to be there on the sideline for when one of the starters get hurt. Because keep in mind, some of these guys go on to play in the NFL. Is like that preseason. I mean that junior NFL type league. So I'm like, okay, so I came before the I came that within the next 48 hours, and I came with the sweatpants. And the coach noticed that what the guy said, that had told me that he was right. He noticed how fast and how strong I was. Now, keep in mind that all the other guys had on equipment at this time because it was so close to the first game, and I didn't have any equipment yet. So what he said was, like, he said, okay, you look pretty fast, but we don't got equipment on yet. And I'm just thinking to myself, I've been hearing this doubt on my mind. I'm loving it. This doubt that it just fused me. So in my mind, I'm smiling. And the guy the guy that works out with me in the weight room, he knows that how strong I am, and that me not lifting, like, the equipment weighs around 50 or 60 pounds.
Yeah, it's nothing to you, right?
Yeah, he sees me in a weight room, this 170-pound kid lifting almost 500 pounds by himself.
Right.
So he knows how strong I am. So, like, all the guys seeing me, like, yeah, they like just the banter that goes on between athletes. Yeah, wait till you get that football equipment on. You're not gonna be that fast, and you're not gonna be moving us out the way like that. I'm just thinking in my mind, just keeping my humble but driven spirit that I have in all areas of my life. Thank you. So I just keep that in mind. In my mind, I got this smile, like, oh, I can't wait either.
Because you knew what you were capable of.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't know you. Yeah.
So, like, within it happened like a week and a half before the first game. So after I came there 2 weeks, so I say after about 5 or 6 days, he gave me the football equipment, and then I got to play and practice with the other players, how they've been practicing with the full football equipment.
Right.
And that's when the coach and the other players noticed. They're like, okay, this guy is for real. So, like, he seen me at the practice, and he seen what I was doing, how I'm blowing past these guys. He seen me, he put me on defense, and he said he couldn't put me on offense at that time because it was too close to the season and it's NFL style plays, so that's too complex a play for me to learn. But he said with defense, really all you got to do is, even if you don't know the plays, hit the guy with the ball.
That's right, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so he said, he said, let me put you over here at a position where you can go to play the pass, or you can come up and play the run. So he put me at outside linebacker, And even with the equipment on, nothing changed. Not only that, he said that I seemed even faster with more weight on me. When he
Wow.
put the equipment on, he said my speed seemed to, like as if it turbocharged me, so to speak. He said he noticed, and the other players noticed too, that even with the 50, 60 pounds of equipment, I seemed to get faster.
You still moved. Yeah, you could move.
But I knew in
You
my
could
heart
maneuver.
that, yeah, I knew in my heart that without the equipment, I was holding back. Even though I was moving fast, I knew I was holding back. I was just, because I'm thinking to myself, they got equipment on. I don't want to bump into them too hard without my
Right.
equipment on. So
You're being
even
smart.
yeah, yeah. So I knew like I'm
You got to
moving
protect the
fast.
body.
Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, let me hold back just a little for when I get the equipment on, because I don't want my big head to hit them with the helmet on.
That's right.
So I'm like, okay, when I got that equipment on, I went that extra 110 miles per hour. And when the coach is looking, the other players is looking, they're like, wow, this guy is really good. And the couple of guys that work out with me from the gym, like, I tried to tell you, this guy, they were like, this guy, like when he lifts weights in the gym, they were saying like it's like 50 people in the gym. When he comes and he lifts weights in the gym, when he picks up almost 500 pounds by himself and lift it, every single person in the gym stops and look at him, but they don't believe what they're seeing. Like something out of a fairy tale or a movie, because it does not seem real. They like his arms are skinny, his legs are skinny, but yeah, he's lifting so much weight and he's doing it effortlessly. Like, and they can't do it. That's the thing. All these bigger guys that's bigger than me, they can't lift 400 and 500 pounds. So they looking at like, how is this guy?
But maybe they could. And see, you didn't put boundaries on yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't think I can't do something. You just did it.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference. A lot
And
of
I
people
have to say,
fear.
Captain Kirk, you were going warp speed. Let me tell you.
You know what,
Warp
guys? We got to
speed.
take a break right now because I know
We're gonna
everybody
take a
wants to
break.
hear more of your music. And we will be back and we're going to chat some more with you.
Stand up now, stand up now, stand up now. I've been mentally slaughtered, emotionally deported. You say psychologist, but I simply can't afford it. So I open up my mind and begin to explore it. Cause it's locked deep inside, I simply can't ignore it. Will its massacre the mind stand the test of time? Will I understand the jewels and read all the signs? Will I find the right road and walk the right line? Will you look up in the sky and watch the stars shine?
One drop of love was left in my soul. It was the love for passion, passion to be a star. Saw that passion and took hold. Tears walked all over my face. They only walks out whenever I'm in pain. Inspired into stardom as I find my pain. Inspired into stardom. Tomorrow's sunshine, today's rain. Inspired into stardom as I find my pain. Inspired into stardom. Tomorrow's
am going to fly, to lift its wings. I will not die. To lift its wings, cause I'm just starting. To lift its wings, cause I'm born into stardom.
Inspired into stardom. Inspired, inspired. Inspired into stardom. Inspired, inspired. Inspired into stardom. As I find my fame. Inspired into stardom. Tomorrow's sunshine today. Inspired into stardom. As I find my pain. Inspired into stardom. Tomorrow.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It Matters Radio. We are interviewing the very fabulous Captain Kirkman, El Sharif from the band Poetically Contagious. Beautiful music, R&B. He is a producer, a author, and a songwriter, and he played football. So I have
Yes.
to ask,
Quite
how did
well.
you go from football to the music that you do today?
Let me tell you that last part of the football story because it has.
Yeah,
it
we
has-
have to hear that last part.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay, that last part of the football story, the part that made me the proudest, even though as a kid my dream was to play professional football when I was in the 5th grade.
Right.
Now, when I went to try out for this semi-pro team, I had no expectations. I just love football, and at that point in time, I hadn't put on football equipment or played in a football game for over 5 years, not in like a real game.
Right.
So, keep in mind, it's a week and a half before the first game. I got my football equipment, and after a few days of practicing, what happened was, and it is every time I think about it, like it almost brings tears to my eyes. But some of these guys went on to play in the NFL, and these guys that I played with on that team, some of them just met me, and I only been practicing with them for like a week and a half. They went to the head coach, not just one of the defensive or the offensive coaches. They went to the head coach of the team and talked to him and said, "You have to start this guy."
Oh,
Don't-
good.
Yeah, they said, "Don't just put him in when we get hurt. Don't just use him as a backup." They's like, "He is way too good. He is way too strong. He is way too fast. It's like his football knowledge. He can be an NFL coach. You have to play this guy. You have to start him. Don't bring him off the sideline. Let him start the beginning of the game. Let him get an official starting position. He is that good."
Oh, heck yeah, they wanted to win.
When the coach came and pulled me to the side and told me, it was like 4 days before the first game. In my mind, I'm just thinking I'm gonna sit on the sideline and come in.
Yeah.
But when he told me that the players came and said one of them was gonna pull back from their starting position to make sure that I start because I'm that good, it almost brought a tear to my eye because I'm thinking to myself, y'all been practicing for months. I just came 2 or 3 weeks before the first game, and y'all
Yeah, but
want me to
that's a
start?
team. That's
Yeah.
a team because they care more about, the outcome in the future than they did about themselves personally. And that's
Yeah.
wonderful when you can
And
find that. Gosh, I bet you were. I bet you couldn't believe it.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. But here's the final part, which transmitted to me officially just being a writer and doing writing books, just focusing on book writing, poetry writing, songwriting, all these things that have to do with writing and all the aspects of it and musical performance. Like that very first game, like I got a really bad injury.
Oh.
Yeah, like my hamstring. I had ripped one of my
Oh, that's bad. Yeah.
Ow.
I was like, I knew like that was my final moment on the field. But even it's kind of weird to say, but I told myself as a kid I would have to have a tremendously bad injury for me to ever stop playing football. I said to myself, I still remember that moment as a kid. I still remember talking to my friends saying they would have to drag me off the field. I don't care if I'm
And they
20.
did.
And they did. It's kind of funny that it worked out like that, but I'm proud of myself because for going that far with football, because all the doubt and all the hate from some of them was family members, some of them was so-called friends, some of them was associates, some of them was teachers, counselors saying, "You're too small, you should give up. You're too small, you should give up."
Oh my gosh.
I know like what that did and helped me with the writing is I took that comment and I heard this comment from Bruce Lee when I was a kid. He said, "Sometimes trying and failing is more than better than not trying at all. Sometimes that you're not supposed to win. Sometimes you're supposed to try and fail. And it's the lesson that you learn, what you gain and then learn from yourself from that path that you took for pushing yourself that far, whether you fail or not. So just taking that knowledge from Bruce Lee and
And I
apply
don't
it
even think
to
you failed because
I mean, no,
you
I
did what you
I,
wanted to do.
yeah. But it is what it did inside of me. It creates something inside of me that says anything that I apply myself to, I feel like I'm going to win as long as I'm put my mind to it. Because with the football, I feel like I won, and I did.
Yes.
Because I never gave up, and I made it to the semi-pro. And the only reason why I didn't go further is because the injury in my hamstring injury was so bad that I was gonna have to be off for over a year. But I knew that I made it.
Yes.
And I know, and not just that I made it, it's how I made it. How I came 2 or 3 weeks before a semi-pro game where they traveling all over the country, and practically the whole team went to the coach and said,
and that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, like all of them guys. I mean, they have no idea how much I'm thankful I am for what they did. Like how I see
well, they're gonna know now.
Oh yeah. So from that moment, like after that moment, I said, okay, now it's time to focus in on the writing. So that moment, like I put out my first book, and when I put out my first book, like it was one of the things where I was winning writing competitions even while I was playing the football and in college. Like I actually got offered a couple writing scholarships, but I didn't take them because I was into football so much.
Right at that
so
time,
I turned down these writing scholarships to go to these special writing schools. Because even at that time, even though I was playing football, I still didn't take the writing that seriously. It was something where it was a natural gift, and I didn't believe it was a gift, and I was in love with football at the same time. So I just kept pushing it to the back of my mind. So, but even while I was winning the competitions, like this company came and said, okay, we want to offer you a contract. Vantage Press in New York City, we want to offer you a contract. Sign a contract, and even when I signed a contract, I just thought the book was gonna be in the local area where I was going to school at in Binghamton.
And they're pretty big.
Yeah, I didn't realize how big it was until I have a friend in California. After the book came out, a friend in California said, "Hey, I'm in Barnes and Nobles right now. I think he said it was either San Francisco or LA. He's like, I'm in Barnes and Nobles. He's like, it's 10 people on this line to buy your book. They just told me your book sold out in Barnes and Nobles." And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, because even at that time, the Vantage Press, I'm thankful, and I thank you for everything that they did. They didn't tell me that the book was going to be in every major bookstore, not just local ones.
Well, they don't do that with everybody.
Yeah, they didn't. So
but they did that with you because they knew.
They believed in me, and I'm looking, and that's when I went and looked online, and then I'm starting to look at I was looking at the reviews of the book coming in, and it's receiving reviews from like national book critics, and it's getting 5-star reviews from national book critics.
Wow, you had to feel so great.
And I'm like, wow. And then as I'm doing this writing, I'm getting hired to do more and more college shows, doing book signings, and this is where it transitioned into the music. Like at one of my shows, like Binghamton University hired me to do this big like poetry play show that I had to write a whole script out for a play. And I had 2 months to plan a play. And keep in mind, at this point in time, I had no interest in music. It was just the writing. This is how it happened. It happened something like a movie. I was writing. I wrote the script. I was planning to play out for 2 months. 48 hours before the show, I was thinking, I'm like, the play is missing something. I'm like, I got the script. Everybody know they part to the play, but I feel in my heart that it's missing something. So one of my sisters, my baby sister said, hey, I'm one of my friends is a model. Maybe you can have models walk through on the show. So I met with this model, and what the model told me, I sat down. Now it was 24 hours before the show. 24 hours before the show, I'm sitting down with the model. I'm pointing out the script. I'm telling her where you will have your models and your friend models walk through. And then the model looked in the script and said, "Hey, you got a part where I do like something like for celebrating Michael Jackson in a play." She said, "Well, I have this really talented dancer named J12."
Right.
I'm like, okay. Now I told him like, okay, it's 24 hours before the show. She's like, he's right over there. I'm like, okay, well, he's gonna have to show me right now because I have no time to wait. So she's doing a song, and it was the most quietest kid in the corner, all huddled up like this. And I'm like,
Until he got on stage.
Until he got on the stage, and she do the music on, and I'm like, wow, like this guy embodied Michael Jackson. Like I'm just like jumping. My eyes like, and I'm looking. I'm like, and even after it, I ran up to him. I'm gave him a hug because I'm like, you did so well. So I put him in the show. He came to the show, and then like even during the play, like when he came out as Michael Jackson and started dancing, the crowd just went to a whole nother level. They're cheering. They were like, wow, because even the crowd was amazed. And then the show went well. Like the DVDs from the show, they sold out after the show, and the DVDs got produced and everything. But like right after the show, I spoke to him and I thanked him. I said, "Yo, I got another show at Alfred University, about 100 miles away at Alfred University, another college." I'm like, "Would you want to work in that show as well?" And he said, "Sure." And then that's when he told me, he was like, "You know what? You probably can use me more for just dancing because I can sing too."
Here we go.
This is my entry into the music. I'm like, okay. I'm like, yo, okay, now this show is in a couple weeks, so I need if you can sing. I know how I am. I'm one of the people like, if you can do it, do it. Don't tell me and then tell me that no, I'll show you a week on. No, I need to see it because this is like every moment counts. So I'm like, he started singing it and he sung Michael Jackson's "I Want to Rock With You," from the 1970s from Michael Jackson's Off the Wall album. And when he sung it, like he sung it just like Michael Jackson. And like everybody backstage that was in the play after the stage, everybody stopped and listening to him. We all looking at each other like, do you really hear how good he's singing? So then I'm like, okay, you win the show. And then when he went and he performed at Alpha University, like he blew the crowd away there as well. So after that, like I thought to myself, like my mind is steady working. Like what's the next step? How to improve this? How to take advantage of every moment. So like right after the show, I started thinking to myself, and I told him like, you know what? I know this music producer. I would love to get you in the studio. I told him like, with me with the writing, I had always been writing, but I never thought of applying it. It just came to me so easily, right? With writing poems, writing songs. So I had
because they all tell a story.
Yeah, and I had this huge collection.
At least
of writing.
the good ones.
Yeah. So I had this song, and I said, "Yo, I got this song. I would love to bring you in the studio." He's like, "I'm like, are you interested in doing the music?" He's like, "Am I?" Like, you see my dancing, you see my singing. It's like, this is my heart. I love to do it. He's like, if you can bring me into a real studio, I've never been there. I would love that. So we brought him to the producer studio. I had this song, and he started singing. And from that moment, when he started singing in the studio, I knew from that moment, I'm like, we got something here. And that song that I wrote when he sung is one of the songs, actually the song that means the most to me, which is my very first song that I ever wrote, which is Inspired Into Stardom. That's how it's Inspired Into Stardom was the beginning of it. And that's the birth of Poetically Contagious Records.
Right.
And from that moment, it just grew and grew and grew. Now, keep in mind, when I talk about and tell a story, everybody that knows about it says that it seems like a movie because I met this guy 48 hours before the first show. I didn't know he can sing, but I found out he can dance. I met him 24 hours before the show. He danced, and then after the show, found out he could sing. And then he sung at the next show. He blew the crowd away at the next show with the singing. Then I said, here's a song. We got into the music. I said, like, from that point, I got into the music at that point. And I said, okay, let me form an official record label. Formed an official record label. And so Poetically Contagious was formed in February 2010. By summer 2011, 15 months after, about 15 months after we started, we was already in 2 national entertainment magazines. So before we ever got a song on the radio, we was in the summer issue of Mommy magazine. Now this is a magazine that's talking about, like, when you in that magazine, I never forget. You open it, and index, it has our name next to Jill Scott. Jill Scott performed at the Grammys. So I'm looking at this and I'm like,
Wow.
wow. I'm like, oh my goodness, wow.
That feels so good.
Yeah, like after the next break, I'll show you guys the magazine. But I'm like, wow, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is unbelievable. So
Wow.
and from that magazine, I put a director out in LA seen the magazine. He said, I want to work with you guys. So he flew out to New York and he shot this major music video. And that major music video, from that major music video, it led us to the radio stations, like major radio stations, seeing it, and they
Yes.
said, "Wow, I see. I want to get y'all on the radio." So they put our song on the radio. Now we are R&B label, but we made a song, like our only song on the album that we was planning that was about money, made it onto the radio. We would have preferred if it was an R&B song, but
Yeah.
we didn't care. We just said, okay, even though we're an R&B song and the one song we have about that just talked about money, rather one of the romantic songs that we mostly like, the money song about money, made it onto the radio. We'll take that. And that song made the top 200 national charts, and that was in 2013. And we got something here.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah,
do.
you knew.
Let's bring it up a little bit to 2017. You have a song that's coming out, or is it already out, called "Toss Him Aside"? You want to tell a little bit about that new song?
Yeah, that song, "Tossing Aside," in 2017. That's part of the album that we're working on now. That was the first song we released from our new album. We had took from 2012, after the first album came out in 2012, we took time off and just found new producers and found other artists so we could really make this album something special, and we're glad we took the time off. Now this song, "Toss 'Em Aside," we released it the last week of January or the first week of February. By mid-March, this song made the top 40 charts in the US. Now, to say that our joy was through the roof is an understatement.
Oh yeah.
Right on.
Who wouldn't want that, right?
I mean,
Now, was that the song, El Sharif, that got to number 18 on the top indie
Captain.
chart? Is that the song?
say that again.
The top, was that song the one that got to the top, like number 18 on the top indie charts? Is that the one, "Toss Me Aside," or was that another song I'm thinking of?
No, "Toss 'Em Aside" got on the top, I think it's the top 400 indie charts in Europe. Out of 400 indie charts on the whole continent of Europe, it made it to number 18.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
That's very phenomenal. Now, speaking of music, where can we find El Sharif and Poetically Contagious? Where can we purchase your music?
We're on iTunes. We're on Amazon. We're also on for those who like streaming, the new streaming service that Jay-Z came out with. I can't think of it at the moment.
It's right there.
A Tidal. I think it's
Okay.
Tidal. So we're on Tidal as well. So those are the areas that people can find our music. And they can also go to our website, poeticallycontagious.com, and all the links and the music is there as well. And if they go to the website, poeticallycontagious.com, they can see all the reviews, the physical links to all the magazine reviews from all the magazines that talk about us, the recent magazines, older magazines. They can see every single national entertainment magazine that we was in. There's a link to the magazine, so they can see the physical.
And you also have a book out called "Thoughts of a Beautiful Mind." Where can
Let's
we
not
find
talk
it?
about that, because
We'll talk about that later. But you do have a book out. Maybe we can have you back to talk about that. El Sharif, this has been a wonderful interview. Unfortunately, we are running out of
Yeah, I
time.
want to.
Go ahead, Monica.
And I'm going to call you Captain,
Okay.
because you certainly are a captain.
Thank you.
When do you think that you might be releasing another album?
The next album is going to be sometime over the next 15 to 18 months.
Okay.
we just want to do it a little bit differently. We want to spread it out, release about 3 to 5 singles before we release the album, to see the way the fans take to the fans and the critics connect with as each song that comes out.
See what they like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you put the album together, that's a good idea because you're putting feelers out. You want to give them what what the people want.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. We have to have you back again because I know there's so much more to speak with you about.
That, yeah.
And I hope you will come back, and
definitely.
when you release your next song, let us know.
Okay.
And Captain, you have just been an inspiration to people who have dreams.
Wow.
And you've been an inspiration to people who think they'll never be anything because of circumstances they're in.
Yeah. Wow.
And I just want to end this for me anyway with the quote from one of your poems, and it was on your bio, and I love it. I won't read the whole thing. Okay, it goes, the child was born 5:15, a new life was sworn into existence by the powers that be. Into existence from a seed grows a tree. Into existence, will he earn any stripes? Into existence as he breathes the air of life. And you have become into existence, and we love you. You are such a positive role model. We have to tell you that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate hearing that.
You should be proud of yourself. We're very proud of you.
We are very.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Just looking to inspire just one person. If I could do that, I'm happy.
I think you have I can't even talk. I'm sorry. Inspired many, many people, and you'll continue to do so in your life. That's why you're here. You're bringing joy into the world.
Thank you. You are.
Okay,
Thank
take
you so
care.
Live long and prosper.
Love it.
Wow, amazing.
I think we could do a whole show around his writing. And
what an amazing career, though, Monica. From just
there's so much
football
more to know about
music.
Captain. I mean, and I think the name that he gave, Politically Contagious, was just it's perfect. You couldn't have named it better.
Yep,
his songs are like that. His music's like that. His writing's like that. Mm-hmm. And are you ready for some more music?
I am ready for some more Poetically Contagious, folks.
Okay. Here's to you, Captain. Bye, Carrie.
Bye, Captain, and bye, Monica.
Have you ever been too afraid to ask a girl out that you were attracted to? Or just not know what to say or what to do on your first date? Well, I'ma help you out with that. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the lesson. You're sweating with chills cause you know it's at stake. You need to calm your nerves, it's only the first date. Go out and enjoy it like a movie first take. You shine like a star at a party birthday. Man, you're sweating with chills cause you know it's at stake. You need to calm your nerves, it's only the first date. Go out and enjoy it like a movie first take. You shine like a star at a party birthday. Lesson 1, we have begun. Take a chance, have some fun. Your thoughts cloudy with no sun. Stand strong, do not run. Always pay attention, think she says what she mentions, cause you know intuitions can be reading your ambitions. Hear what she be saying, don't let your eyes go straying with your thoughts. Simply playing on the bed, simply laying birthday suit with no clothes, or on a stripper pole, let her sex unfold. Those thoughts too bold, those selfish thoughts are a crime. She will read what's on your mind, she will see it like a sign. Then there's no more spending time, so put her first in front of you. Not what you say, but what you do. Show respect, you get it too. All these words I say are true now. If she wants you, you would know. Take it right, take it flow. You're not the average Joe with no paper or no dough. You're a ladies man, I say I think I can. Get her when he blesses come to an end. You're sweating with chills cause you know it's at stake. You need to calm your nerves, it's only the first date. Go out and enjoy it like a movie first take. You shine like a star at a party birthday, man. Sweating with chills cause you know it's at stake. You need to calm your nerves, it's only the first date. Go out and enjoy it like a movie first take. You shine like a star at a party birthday, man. Listen to this, what you do. Come alone, not with your crew. Say her name, don't call her boo. She not your girlfriend yet. True. Not early, be on time, cause coming late is a crime. Cause females like to shine and be treated like they're fine. Special, elegant, like roses, 10 gems, with beauty, out and in, and sexy, more than just a girl on the side. A beat up hoopty ride, an old trailer double wide. Like, on the side, I'm moving on. Compliment, over food, order dinner, you're playing games, she be the winner. Trouble start, you must offend her. And let her check your wealth, from how you be yourself. Show her strong mental health, like a Bible on the shelf. You got information, I can tell by maturation. You know the situation, what a beautiful creation. I think you got her, go get her. Not smaller, you're big, I see your swag on the trigger. This lesson's over, go figure. Woo!
Get your mind right, been at it all night. Already here, let the moment now take flight. Contemplating whether or not to stay in. You feel your heart beating fast, stay focused. Keep it casual, be yourself. Enjoy the time spent between you and her. And before the night ends, the moment of pure bliss. Take her by the hand and reach in for that first kiss.
Chills, but you know it's at stake. You need to calm your nerves. It's on the first date. Go out and enjoy it like a movie first take. You sound like a star at a party birthday. Sweating with chills, but you know it's at stake. You need to calm your nerves. It's on the first date. Go out and enjoy it like a movie first take. You sound like a star at a party birthday, man.
Relax, it's okay. It's only the first day. Things will be okay. It's only the first day. Relax, it's only the first day. Relax, man. Only the first day.